Hello everybody. Welcome to another edition of my vlog. Now, to start off with, my request for an appeal has been accepted, and I'm just waiting on them to give me the time and date of when the tribunal itself is going to happen. So hopefully that shouldn't be shouldn't be very long until that happens, and I'll let you know what happens when obviously I have the tribunal and whatnot. They screwed up with the letter, and the letter said that they'd accepted my appeal for personal independence payment, which, as I've said before, I've already been awarded that. It was employment support allowance that I was contesting their decision to deny me, but I called them up and said, yeah, that's fine, we'll just make an amendment to it and what have you. So yeah, I'm just waiting until they send me a letter or give me a call to tell me when the date of the appointment is. I know it's going to be in a town close to me. They have one of their tribunal courts there, whatever it is you want to call it. I just got back from the job centre, so yeah, that's why I'm at here. Obviously, I had a bought pie and my milk. This isn't my usual one because inexplicably they were completely out of the chocolate ones. I mean, normally they have a couple of have them stacked up in the shelves, but there wasn't even any in an open boxes behind. It was just completely empty of only that one flavour. So I don't think that anybody's come out and taken the entire batch, but the only thing I can think of is that maybe there was a problem with the batch that they got in and they had to pull it off the shelf, something. I mean, it's alright, I mean, that stuff's nice enough. Recently I've bought something called a NAS drive, or NAS box. NAS box would be more appropriate. NAS stands for Network Attached Storage. It's a bunch of hard drives in a box which connects to your your home network, and I put my movies and TV series and what have you on it, and I'm able to connect to it from anywhere in the house, and if I set it up properly, I can also connect to it from anywhere in the world and just stream my my media from it. So I've gotten all that set up, and my parents are happy that they can watch stuff that I've downloaded on their laptops downstairs. Something nice to have. I mean, I'd run out of hard drive space anyway on my storage drive, and the only bigger hard drives that that you can realistically buy for desktop computers are 4 terabytes. That was only 1 extra terabyte, and I would just need a new one next year, at the latest next year. So at the end of the day, it's better that I get one of these NAS boxes, because when I exceed the storage capacity of the drives that are in there, I can just buy new drives for it, provided that they work. you know, when it comes to the this configuration of all that. I mean, it's pretty damn easy. You know, you just plug the damn thing in, you download the software for it, and it has step-by-step instructions in the interface for it. So it's not like it's anything, you know, that you've got to worry about screwing up or what have you, because it's simple as hell. Really, anybody could do it as long as they could read instructions. Nothing much else has been going on really since then. I mean, my uncle's had another funny turn again. He's got sleep epilepsy, they believe. You know, sometimes he has epileptic fits when he's asleep. But recently he had his first waking fit, and I mean, he's been on medication that have, you know, reduced the number of instances seriously, but he recently had his first waking fit, and he collapsed on the floor and broke his clavicle. So yeah, he's got to be going back and forth to the hospital to deal with that. And also, since then, he had another one, but thankfully it wasn't serious enough that it made him fall over. My aunt was able to get him sat down before he collapsed. So it's a bit concerning. Yeah, the men on my mum's side of the family don't really do too well. I mean, I take after her side of the family, so you know that we keep our hair and our looks, but we haven't really lived long enough to enjoy that. Yeah, my mum's dad died when he was 52. He had a brain embolism one day and just never came home from work. Her uncle died on the operating table during a liver biopsy, and yeah, the men on my mum's side of the family have always died young for some reason. And now that you know, we established that I've got haemophilia, and we know that haemophilia is hereditary and all of that, it kind of makes sense, because the men that died probably had haemophilia, and something that went, normally someone would be able to survive. They couldn't because of the haemophilia. My uncle doesn't seem to have it. I think he got tested many years ago when they discovered that I had it, but I mean, not everybody in the family gets it unless it's a particularly potent gene. Like Queen Victoria's children, I mean, almost all of the boys had it, and all of the girls were carriers, and they had haemophiliac sons and carrier daughters and so on. So yeah. Open up some chocolate. There's also something wrong with my cat. She's had blood in her stool recently, quite a lot, and the vet thinks she might have polyps in her colon. So she's on a very special diet at the moment. A special food that's formulated to help with gastrointestinal problems. Maybe she's getting on a bit now. So as they get older, you sort of expect things to start happening. Trying to think of a topic for this video today. I haven't really done any specific topic videos in quite a while, and as a result, the videos have been substantially shorter than they used to be. Maybe we could talk about family. No. Yeah. You probably gathered that my parents are still together from the way I talk about them. I have one younger brother. And a large extended family. On my mother's side, we've got my aunt and uncle who aren't married, they're brother and sister. My uncle's a bit like me, and we could possibly have, you know, this would be on the autistic spectrum somewhat, but you know, he's very quiet and he's never had a girlfriend, and he still lives in the house he was born in with his sister. Yeah, my aunt's a widow. Uncle Neville, who I never knew, drunk himself to death in the 1980s. He ran off, leaving her saddled with all of his company debts. Because, you know, he declared bankrupt before, and he started up another company, and a declared bankrupt cannot be sole operator of a company. There has to be another director, and he made my aunt director. And then, when things went tits up with that company, he ran off and left her. And was found dead from liver failure a little while later. At least I think that's the story. I've never asked my mother, or my aunt, or my cousin, his daughter, anything specific about it. I've got, you know, memories of someone saying something about it many years ago, and that's, you know, it's basically what I've pieced together from the things that people have occasionally said here and there. I might be wrong about some of it, but that's what I think happened. And my cousin's probably watching this, so if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be bad-mouthing your father, you know, by saying something that's not true, but yeah. If it's not true, please correct me. Yeah, Uncle Neville died long before I was born. I never met him. My grandmother on my mother's side, she died of breast cancer in late 1990, early 91. I have no memory of her, but there are photographs of me with her. Her name was Margaret. And apparently she talked with a South African accent because she'd spent many years living there. There are plenty of other relatives on my mother's side that died long before I was born, or shortly after, so I don't know them. But as the ones that are still alive, her aunt, still alive, and she lives up in Worcester. You know, around Christmas every year, either we go up to see her or she comes down to see us. She's got a few children. I don't recall meeting all of them. Well, so her other aunt lived up in Cornwall. She used to own a guest house up there, and we'd spend almost every Easter there. You know, spend a lot of time with her, and I was very fond of her. She died in 2012, I think, and yeah, the only person down there that we ever see anymore is one of her sons. The other son, who lives in the guest house now, he doesn't really seem interested in talking to anybody. You know, we only used to talk to him because, you know, we went to see his mother, basically. And then there's my step cousins. One who's gay, who's a very nice guy, and there was another one who robbed a post office at gunpoint and tried to escape on a moped, but he wasn't fast enough to get away from the police, and they arrested him. He went to prison for a while. Again, I've never met him though, and I've only met the gay one once or twice. Also my mum's cousin. We've obviously seen her a lot over the years growing up. She doesn't live very far from my aunt and uncle, so you know, every once in a while, you know, we'll go and see her. I think that's it for that side of the family. There used to be Auntie Queen, but she's long dead now, and her children aren't interested in us. On my dad's side of the family, we've got my grandparents, and we've got my uncle Jonathan, his wife Michelle, and daughter Jasmine, who I think is also on the autistic spectrum. So perhaps, you know, we've had two families coming together with autistic genetics to create my good self. My great-grandmother died a few years ago. There's also Aunt Ev, who is, I think she's suffering from dementia at the moment. She lives in a home. There's Aunt Beat, which I'm assuming is short for Beatrice, who I only ever met a few times, and I have not seen her in years. I'm not even sure if she's still alive. And there's Roger, who is either a very close friend of my dad's parents, or my grandparents, or he's one of those relations, like a cousin or something. And there's my grandmother's sister, Roz. I think she died recently. We didn't go to the funeral, but I think I remember something I'm saying about we hadn't seen her in years because she'd gotten dementia as well. Haven't seen Tony in a long time either, but Roz, is that it? No, just so many people that I haven't seen in so many years. Yeah, I think so. I did used to have quite a large extended family, but they've all died. You know, they were mostly old. And of course, their kids moved away, so I never saw any of them. Yeah. Oh, there's also my dotty old great aunt. I think I've mentioned her before. Her name's Brenda. She lives in this big townhouse in Battersea in the middle of London. She's an interesting woman. She documents everything. Yeah. She'll go and do something, she'll come home and she'll write a diary about it. It doesn't matter what it's on. It could be, you know, a cereal box that she's ripped open and turned inside out. Yeah. And we've gone to visit a lot of our family over the years. Like I said, unfortunately, quite a few of them have died. So, you know, there's not really that many people to go and visit anymore, unfortunately. But there's still plenty of people to go and visit. So, you know, if I do eventually, you know, get myself a girlfriend and start a family, there will be people there, you know, to be their extended family. But you know, it just depends on how long it takes. Hopefully, they won't all be dead by then. I mean, I think the youngest one, you know, my aunt, out of my entire extended family, you know, not counting my uncle on my dad's side. She's in her late 50s, early 60s, my aunt is, and she's the youngest. Yeah. So, you know, family's important to me. You know, I do like going and visiting them and spending time with them, talking to them, etc. But, you know, we just don't do it as much as we used to anymore, you know, because, you know, me and Daniel are all grown up and many people have died and so on, so it's just not practical anymore. Yeah. I only talk for 25 minutes. Anything else going on? No. I think I'm just going to end it here. Anyway, I hope you will have a good day and be seeing you.